Thank you very much. General McCorkle first spoke to this group in 2002. And since that time, he's spoken every year with the exception of two. And one year we were at the Ramada Inn and the kitchen caught on fire and they canceled the meeting. And then the second time he was Bethesda, had a medical issue at the time and was not able to speak to us that time. But I think this is the 22nd year that he has spoken to Kiwanis. So let's get on. As many of you know, he was born in San Francisco, and as an infant, they moved to Harriman, Tennessee, where he was raised. He graduated from ETSU. By the way, he's a member of the ETSU ROTC Military Hall of Fame. He later got his master's degree from Pepperdine. He taught school, what, 2 years?
One.
1 year, and then decided to try the Marines and went to OCS, was commissioned, and then completed Naval Flight School, flying the CH-46 helicopter. He was almost immediately ordered to Vietnam. There he flew over 1,500 missions, and while in Vietnam, he was awarded the Purple Heart, 2 Distinguished Flying Crosses, Air Medal with 76 Flight Strike Awards, and the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal with the Combat V. He had other awards too. During his 35-year career in the Marines, he logged over 6,500 flight hours in 60 different series of aircraft. Before making general, he had 3 major commands in the Marines. And then after being selected and promoted to general, he had a number of major commands in the Marines. The last one was the 3rd Marine Air Wing in El Toro, California, had a little over 17,000 Marines in that command. In June 1998, he assumed duties as the Deputy Commandant Aviation, and he was promoted to Lieutenant General shortly thereafter. Now, that's the Air Czar for the Marine Corps. He's over and responsible for all aviation in the Marine Corps. He retired in October 2001 and was awarded the Distinguished Service Medal. Now, after retiring, he has served on boards and as senior advisors to a number of aerospace companies. And this includes GKN Aerospace Services, Rolls-Royce, North America. He was president of BOTAG, president of Jura Corporation, served on Lord Corporation. He was chairman of the board for Atlas Worldwide Holdings. He's also a member of a number of nonprofit organizations. Jura, which has been in the news lately, he was a member of that organization. His best decision he ever made was to marry Kathy Schwartz. And they were married in July 1966. And by the way, Kathy is recovering from kidney stones. And those of you who've been through that know that's no fun. And we needed to thank her for allowing Fred to come over here and talk to us. They live in Gray with their doodle, Murphy, who's a handful. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our fellow Kiwanian, Lieutenant General Fred McCorkle.
As usual, I say that young Admiral does a longer bow on me than I do the speech. So, and it's really good to see just about everybody here is casual. The first couple of these that I was invited to, Admiral McKinley told me it was black tie. So for those of you that could think back that far, And then others said that was the only time he would wear a tie was when I was talking. But with all the news now and all the stuff going on in the world, you'd say, why do we need some midget up here that's dated or whatever? But I still, I'm not like any of these guys that come on CNN or whatever to be seen, but I've had a lot of young guys on the highway of life that work for me, and I just Friday before last, I was in D.C. and was invited up by a guy named Jim Adams. And so when I was a two-star out at El Toro, I interviewed him and took him as my aide, and he was a young captain. His call sign was Rain Man, and his wife was a captain in the Marine Corps at the same time. Some of you are going to say, where is this going? I'll tell you in a second. His call sign was Rain Man because, like in the movie, you could drop a book of matches and they could say, there's 50 matches down there, and Rain Man would say 47, and you counted them, and there were 47. Really a smart little guy. So later, he became the SEAL of a weapons and tactics squadron that I used to have, and then he became a three-star general in the Marine Corps, and President Trump just about 2 months ago made him the director of the Defense Intelligence Agency for all of the United States and all the other stuff. So he called me and asked me to come up for a meeting, and I'm thinking it's 1,000 degrees. I'm old. I don't want to wear a coat, suit, and tie up there, and sit out 90 degrees and chat with somebody. And he said, well, it's going to be the director of the Central Intelligence Agency that we're going to spend a couple of hours with. So I was humbled and honored to get to go up and spend an evening with John Ratcliffe, who is now head of the CIA. And it was really, really a great guy and very humble himself with what he's done. But he is the only guy that's ever been the director of the CIA and the director of the National Intelligence Agency. And before that, he was a congressman, I think, in Texas. So I didn't ask him how rich he was and if I could borrow any money, but he talked about a few things that I could discuss, but one of them was to say that for those of you that watch Jason Bourne and all the movies and things that he's done, both of these guys said that he's really kindergarten compared to some of the things that they still do out there on the highway of life, which I think is good. And of course, he's really involved, as is General Adams, in what's going on in Iraq and Iran right now and all the Gulf states around. And with what, and I think I said this last year, but we'll say it again. I think, regardless of what you think of President Trump or politics or whatever else, I can tell you here that I think, like Trump or hate him or whatever, I think that he's kept us from having Armageddon, because there's no doubt in Fred McCorkle's mind, and a guy that's been to Israel 10 times and flown their airplanes. F-15 was the last tactical jet that I flew, and that was in Israel, that Iran would take them out in one heartbeat, just over hate. And now I don't think they have the capability to do that. But with UAVs, and back when I was a young major, the Marine Corps wanted nothing to do with UAVs. Neither did the Navy or the Air Force, because that made it a threat to their pilots. Now they have these things, and nobody shows it on television anymore because I guess it scared the heck out of everybody that they can open that door, fly this in, and if you pick one person in here that you hate, like Admiral McKinley, that drone can fly in his ear, blow up, take his head off, and everybody else lives. And that capability is there. And now they can launch from one city, and they're not much larger than this table. And they actually started having those during the Gulf War when you were over there, and that they can go 1,000 miles. And so the Deputy Director of Defense told me personally one time, he said, we have right now our F-18s, and now we're up to the F-35s, not to mention the F-22s before that, but the F-18s can go and deliver more ordnance unmanned than most of these military jets, or all of the military jets, and then can come back, and this country has nobody in a body bag. And when we've had 6,000 people in this great nation killed in one day, on battlefields right here in our own country, we lose 17 people over 2 months. And that's all you hear on the news, is that we lost 17 folks. We've been very lucky in Iran right now that we hadn't lost anybody. And that can't happen. It's just incredible. Venezuela, we had over 100 aircraft there. And Miles has been there, Admiral McKinley, and a bunch of you others in here. I've never seen any operation go down without losing at least one aircraft. And there's 100 at one time, and they go in and take that country down. And now nobody even talks about it, but we're going to receive billions of dollars in oil, and it may be 6 months from now, maybe a year from now, and that will be locked in with us. And if you look at Cuba, I don't really see Cuba as a major threat when they are being supplied with UAVs and the other stuff, because I don't think under this administration that they'll let it happen without going in and doing major work on the state of Cuba itself. And we have done with, I understand it now, over 200,000 Iranians have been put to death who were celebrating Trump knocking out their nuclear supplies. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but a guy once told me, and I think I've mentioned this before, maybe a couple of years ago, 3 Iranian friends that are here in the United States and have been here for 20 years said, Fred, you Americans are so nice, but you just don't understand war. Because the Iranians with the mullahs, the only thing that they understand is if you kill them and kill their brothers and kill whoever else is coming up, that is all they understand, and that's the only time that they'll wake up. Well, a whole layer of those have been taken out, but never the mullahs. And I'm not sure if that's because, that they claimed a religious faction or whatever else. But other than that, I think that we're in a good position, and where people thought oil was going to be $200 a barrel, it's not. And I think that the best thing that's operated here, and it's all over the news, is from Venezuela to Saudi Arabia to whatever else, they're finding other ways to deliver oil and get oil, us depending on Iran and them being able to shut it down. And I'll stop there and take any questions that you have, and